Hi all, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining. For those of you that have not met me, my name is Krista, and for those of you that have been here before, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about gardening. So gardening is one of those things that I started doing probably about, I'd say about 10 years ago. 10 years ago though, on a small scale, and since then it has gotten a little bit larger. But it's one of the things that I do, even before we were on this debt-free journey. It was one of the things I did to keep fresh produce and fresh items in our household year round. So we live here in Iowa, and in Iowa during the winter, produce can be very expensive. It is harder to get, it's super cold around here, so even some of the stuff that we do get isn't even actually that great because it's had to travel from such a distance that they had to pick it well before it was time. So what I do is I have a garden out back that we put in. It is about I think probably like a 15 foot by 15 foot, so it's not huge by any means. But I plant a variety of different items out there that help keep us stocked up on some of the necessities year round. So I put tomatoes, green peppers, jalapenos, beans, green beans, peas, radishes, onions, carrots, zucchini, squash. I think that's about all that I planted this year. I still had some things left over from last year that we had not finished up yet, so I did not replant because everything that comes out of our garden is used. We do not waste any of it. So if we do not eat it the week that it is picked or have plans to eat it the week that it is picked, then I will either make plans to can it, freeze it, or we share it with friends and family. I'll take some of it maybe to work sometimes. We'll, just give it away, but nothing goes to waste. So here is the items that I was able to pick out of the garden today. It's Frankie just chilling on the floor. So we got a bunch of tomatoes and jalapenos. Jalapenos I have been picking now for the last couple of weeks. We've been using them up in different dishes. We've made jalapeno popper dip. Oh, there's kind of a glare there. But we've made jalapeno popper dip, we made jalapeno poppers, we've made pico with jalapenos, and some of the tomatoes I picked. My tomatoes have just started coming in probably within the last week. I think before this, the most I had picked so far was like 4 tomatoes. So the weather this weekend in Iowa actually really pushed my tomatoes along. Last week it was like in the 70s. It was actually cool in Iowa for August. And this weekend alone it was up in the 90s. So that really pushed along some of my produce. So anyway, so I've got tomatoes. Now the tomatoes we will use in a variety of different things. I like to make pico with them. And then also what I think they call it like hillbilly caviar. But basically it's tomatoes, jalapenos, green pepper, black beans, black-eyed peas, mix all that together, and a red onion, mix all that together, and then put Italian dressing with it, and you eat it with tortilla chips. So I'll probably make another batch of that, but that will only use up like 2, maybe 3 tomatoes at most. But we do have a party to go to next weekend, so that's probably something that I will take. Otherwise, with the tomatoes, the rest of them I will can. So we go through a lot of salsa, spaghetti sauce, diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, chili starter, pizza sauce. We go through a lot of those items all year long. So I will can that. And I cannot tell you the last time I purchased one of those items. Every single year we have so many tomatoes that I know they're not the most expensive thing at the grocery store to buy. Like a can of diced tomatoes is like what? 88 cents or something like that. But when you are on a budget, every single penny helps. Every single penny. So even though it takes me time and it's effort on my behalf to do all of this canning process, it does save us money in the long run. So with the tomatoes, that is what I will do with those. So this week I will probably do some canning. A little friendly tip to anyone that does can or is considering canning. I have found that when my tomatoes are ready, they are ready. Like I said, last week I picked like 4 of them, and then this is what I picked today. I mean, this is a big giant bowl of tomatoes. And I've got a bunch more out there that'll probably be ready in the next week. I bet for the next couple weeks I'll be picking at least this many once or twice a week. So once my tomatoes are ready, they're ready. Now sometimes I don't have the time to, break out all the canning stuff and spend, 4 hours in the kitchen canning. So a little friendly tip is you can take whole tomatoes and you can freeze them. So what I do is I normally just put them like in a box. I'll have like just a cardboard box that, something was shipped in, and I will put my tomatoes in there and put them in the freezer. And then when I have time, I will take the box out and I will then work with my tomatoes. So that's just a little friendly tip to you. Be aware though, when you do freeze them, they do tend to get a little bit mushier. So it does limit the items that you can, or doesn't necessarily limit, but makes it a little bit harder to can certain items. Normally when I do my salsa, it's always fresh tomatoes, fresh right out of the garden, because I like my salsa chunky. And once you freeze them, they get real mushy. So I will use these frozen ones more for like my pasta sauce, stuff that I'm going to puree anyways. Like I was already going to puree it down into just about nothing. So that's what I will use the frozen ones for. So just a little helpful tip. The jalapenos, like I said, I've been picking my jalapenos now for a couple of weeks. We've been using them in a variety of things. These will also get used in salsa as well. And then we'll also find different ways around here to utilize them throughout the weeks. Another friendly, helpful tip with jalapenos is if I cannot use them right away, or if I start getting an abundance of jalapenos, I will cut them up. I will stem them, take the seeds out, take the membrane out, cut them up, and put them in a mason jar and then freeze them in the mason jar. It makes it really super helpful for if my jalapenos are coming in way before anything else. I can do that, and then when I'm ready to make salsa and make it with my fresh tomatoes, I can then unthaw my jalapenos and dump them right in. So that prep work is already finished for me. So that's just a helpful tip. And then as for my green beans, I have been getting a lot of green beans. It's a ton. So what I do with my green beans, because obviously we cannot eat this. I mean, check out the size of this bowl. This is a huge bowl of green beans. So there's a couple of different things we do with green beans. If we're not going to eat them before they go bad, what I will do is I will blanch my green beans. Now, if you're not familiar with what blanching is, you boil a pot of water with some salt in it. Once the pot is at a roiling boil, you throw in a couple handfuls of green beans and you let them sit there and boil for like 30 seconds to a minute. You will notice that they will get super, super bright color green. When they get to that color green, you take them out and you put them in an ice water bath. So what I do is I will fill up one side of my sink with ice water, and then I fish out the green beans out of the boiling water and I put them in there, and that stops the cooking process. If you don't stop the cooking process, they will get mushy, and you don't want mushy green beans. So I will then blanch them and put them in the ice bath, and then I lay them out on a towel to dry. Once they have dried, I will store them in a reusable silicone bag. We don't use plastic bags around here. We are working on becoming more low waste. Hopefully someday, we can be, a waste-free household, but right now we are just, working on the steps that we can take, and we don't buy plastic bags anymore. Not only is it bad for the environment, but it costs extra money. The silicone ones actually work better. They might be more expensive to invest in, but once you have them, you have them. They work better, they seal better, they keep food fresher, longer, and you can just keep using them over and over and over again. You just wash them out with some soap and water, let them dry, and continue to reuse them. So they save so much money in the long run versus purchasing bags every time that I have to go to the grocery store. So anyway, I blanch them and then I freeze them in the silicone bags or in Tupperware or glass containers and put them in the freezer. And then we take them out when we want them for supper some night and just throw them in a pan and cook them from there. I also use the green beans my dogs eat green beans as well. So we supplement throughout the year probably about 3 times a week. The dogs will get green beans in at least one of their meals, either in the morning or at night. And we just give them a little bit less dog food and you give them some vegetables. So then this way they're getting some vegetables in their diet. It's good for them. It helps with weight management. If you've ever met my dogs before, we could work on some weight management with a couple of them. They've become real lazy and domesticated and like to lay on the couch and not go outside and play anymore. So we will, like I said, supplement some green beans in their diet, and they love them. They are a little fussy though. They will not eat them fresh from the garden. They only like them frozen. Is that bad parenting on my behalf, maybe? Could be. So those are just a couple of things that we do with the stuff that's ready out of the garden now. Now, like I said, I'm gonna have tons more green beans yet. I'm gonna have more tomatoes. My bell peppers should be ready here shortly. My zucchini has been ready. I have been picking zucchini, and we eat zucchini about as fast as we bring it in. I honestly have not found a great way to freeze zucchini yet without it getting all watery and mushy. So if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. I am open to suggestions with that. I'm also open to suggestions with different ways to can tomatoes. Like I said, we do pasta sauce, pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, chili starter, and salsa. But if anybody's got any other suggestions, let me know, because sometimes we end up with a lot of a certain thing. We still have a whole bunch of salsa from last year, but I know with the amount of tomatoes that we're going to be getting that I'm going to still have to can salsa this year. So if you have other suggestions, please let me know. I'm always happy to try new things. As I bring in more produce, I will be sure to show you guys, let you know what it is, how we utilize it, how we keep it for the winter so that it's good, and whatnot. Some of the things we are already done with for the year, and they're already frozen and put away, like the peas, the radishes. Aaron eats those immediately. Those never make it anywhere. Neither do the carrots. We usually eat those immediately. So, but other items we've already frozen and put away for the year, and then we'll use them throughout the winter. But any suggestions, greatly appreciated. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for watching. Bye.